Hey, Dirt Farmer Jay here from dirtfarmerjay.com. If you're a gardener, then you know the importance of composting, and anything you can do to make it easier, faster, and cost-effective is probably going to be of interest to you. Let me tell you about a great system we found from Yardfully, the Geobin composting system. Stay tuned. Hey, Dirt Farmer Jay here. It's been about 5 years since we bought our Yardfully Geobin compost bin, and we love this system. It's simple, so much so that we put 2 of them in our property, and we put one over here at the greenhouse, which is about a half mile from our home. It is a large volume compost system, so it allows us to put a lot of materials into it and to turn those over to put back into the garden growing area or potting soil for pots that we're potting up plants in, that sort of thing. Well, let me walk you through this very quickly. We're going to make a comparison. Number one, just tell you why we like it, and then I'm going to tell you a couple things that we think you just need to be aware of that are a little inconvenient, and they're trade-offs. But bottom line, we think it's a good system, but we want you to be aware of some of the downsides as well. Well, you see right here, we purchased the Geobin. It comes in a rectangular long box because it is coiled up. It's 3 foot wide, about 10 or 12 foot long, rolled up. It's made out of HDPE plastic and is available in 3 colors. We chose the black, but it's also available in green and tan, depending on what your decor is and what you want to match or complement in your gardening space. So they're all 3 available. All 3 of the bins we have are black. So it comes in that carton, and when you open the carton, you're going to find that there's instruction manuals, the keys that put it together, and the material itself that's going to form the compost bin. So the first thing you need to do, because it was rolled up tightly, the material has developed a memory. It doesn't want to lay flat. So we go ahead and roll it out, put it on a concrete slab. You could put it on a driveway, out on a gravel path, somewhere it's going to get heated up pretty rapidly in the sun. So then it flattens out and it becomes pliable. And at that point, then what you're going to do is turn it and put it into a roll. Now, before we go to that though, I want you to see the instruction sheets that come with it. There's a nice set of instructions that come both front and back. And then you can see here the set of keys that come with it. And these keys are like butterfly keys that you insert in the slots. And we'll show you how that all goes together. So now that you've got the material where it's pliable and it isn't fighting you when you try to put it in a roll, we form it into about a 3 foot diameter cylinder, and you do that with about a 5 pattern overlap. When you get the material, you'll see what I mean. And this allows 2 sets of keys to be installed, one on the front overlap and one from the back. And then we orient the whole bin so that those overlaps are facing right out front. So when we want to empty the bin or take out a part of it or deep turn it down the bottom, we can open up a door, so to speak, work with the material, clean things out, close it back, and continue to do the composting process. So it works very well, very simple. And now here it is completed, sitting in the lawn here, getting ready to be placed where we're going to make use of it. Really simple, straightforward, and as you can see, there's a lot of openings on the film that goes around, very tough, that allow both for aeration, for oxygen exchange, as well as moisture to be added, to be draining out of it, to maintain the right balance. All right, we're almost ready to put the bin to use. What we did in our situation is we put it on top of a pallet to kind of give it a good foundation to sit on. And to raise it up, aeration to let it drain and that sort of thing. So here you can see my friend Mike filling up the bin with binder weed, with chopped trimmings and all that sort of thing from around the grounds here near the greenhouse. As long as there's not mature weed seed in it, stay away from anything like goat head or puncture vine, that sort of thing. But you can use a lot of green material for your greens, chopped hay, bedding from the chicken coop, all those sort of things, shredded paper. the greens and the browns, and you mix those up, wet the whole thing down. In this particular case, you can see the finished result where the entire bin was full. We wet it down. It had been mixed as we went with throwing in organic material, which was spent bedding plants that we need to recycle back in. And I'm not kidding you, in 2.5 days, the pile had shrunk 1/2 in that bin. We measured the internal temperature. It was 150 to 152 degrees, really cooking down that material very quickly. So the critical mass really makes sense, pretty easy to do. And we keep refilling it up with more material, as you can see, and that'll keep cooking down, and then we'll sift it all out and start the fun all over again. Now, that's all of the upsides. Are there any downsides? Well, there's a few. Number one, the top edge on this tends to be really sharp, and it's hard on your forearms if you're working over it, that sort of thing. So 2 ways you might overcome that. One, wear long sleeve or long sleeve arm covers when you're working around this so it doesn't slice or become uncomfortable. Or take some sandpaper and sand the edges just to round them over so it softens the edge. That might be one way you do it. All right, the second thing is the keys that they provide. I think they're a little minimalistic on that. I think they could have been a little bit more generous with the keys. I'd rather have some extra keys. They might get lost. And they're available. You can buy them in 5-packs for about $10, but I think they could have just included a few more to begin with. That's my feedback to Yardfully on that. The third thing is it's 3 foot tall, and if you do put it on a pallet, let's put it this way, if you're height challenged, it feels a little bit tall. It's hard to get over into it, to work with it, etc. So if that's the case, they do offer a mini composter that's 24 inches tall, still gives you a lot of volume in it, but it's easier to reach over into the bin, but you do sacrifice quantity or capacity in the bin. But that option is available for you. Another thing that you have to keep in mind is the sides are very flexible, so over time or when you're filling it, you need to keep in the shape you want. So I like the cylindrical shape, but you may want it squared off a little bit or oblong in an area or something like that. You'll need to fill it and shape it as you go, and then over time it'll have a tendency to shift a bit. And if you're a bit OCD or that really bugs you, then you're going to have to maintain that shape a bit as you go, because it's not a rigid system. It holds its shape by all the material in it. So that's another thing to keep in mind. The one other thing that I would mention, because this is a high volume system, it can be a little bit laborious to mix the contents. It's hard to dig into a little bit. You have to unbutton it a little bit to really lift the material out. It's hard to go over the edge and get down deep in it with a standard pitchfork. And so we've got some accessories that we know that you really like. And what you can do is see this video right here that'll walk you through our 3 favorite accessories for composting, whether or not you use this system or not. But it really makes a big difference in dealing with large amounts of compost and gives you better results. And while you're at it, check out this other video that YouTube thinks is perfect for you from our catalog. We think you're going to enjoy it as well. Hey, until the next time, this is Dirt Farmer Jay from dirtfarmerjay.com, going out to make another batch of compost.